It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Friday, April 1st. And this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So what is happening on this wonderful Friday? We've got some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, word study about the Wednesday message, and let's testify with Tuli Ashton from Australia. All right, everyone, it is Friday. Yes, it's the last day of the work week, and I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful and awesome time. Yes, we're getting ready for another awesome weekend, and super thankful all of you guys that we're kicking it off here together on the Morning Star Drive. We're gonna get a new weekend for recharging, relaxation, running, and receiving more revelation and more words to start the next week. All right, everyone. I hope that you guys, one of the big things that we want to do with this community is we want to build it. BTC. Build the community and make sure we build something that will last. And it's an open platform where people can talk about Providence things in the English Providence community. Want to hear from you guys. See how you're doing. Post your song requests, questions, stories, comments, all these things. Let's build the community. All right. So, I do have some news, not so very good news though. I want to bring up to everyone right now. This is kind of big news, and it's kind of all of a sudden for everyone. Today is going to be my last podcast for the Morning Star Drive. Super thankful for all of your support and love on this channel. I have decided actually that I don't know if I really want to do this anymore, so I'm going to actually stop from this point on. So there will not be a podcast from tomorrow. And on top of that, I am leaving Providence. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. It's April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. I just had to try it once. I don't know how many of you were actually believing me, but I just wanted to try it. But the moment I said I'm leaving Providence is the moment I couldn't take it. I'm like, man, that was a little bit too far, especially with all the things going on. Yes, it is April 1st. It is April Fool's Day, so sorry, guys. Oh, I tried my best to try to be as serious as I could, but I can't. It's April Fool's. I'm sorry. I tried, but yeah, the moment I said I left Providence was the moment I couldn't take myself seriously anymore because it was just too ridiculous. And yeah, guys, write in the comments below if you were tricked. Just tell me if you felt the fools or if you knew it was an April Fool's, or were you like, oh my goodness, and you kind of got like, what's going on, right? But just be honest with it too. If you knew it was April Fool's, just write you knew it was April Fool's. But if you didn't know and you're like, what the heck, then just write that too, because I need to know if I fooled anyone. But yes, small joke, I know, but you know what, now that I think about it, with what's going on right now with the slanders and stuff, it probably wasn't a good joke. Yeah, like now that I think of it, like, oh man, you know what? That's probably not a good thing to say right now, and probably some other people might have just shut it off right away. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. I was being a Will Smith, and I just I slapped you guys on this podcast stage. So there is a podcast tomorrow. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to. Yeah, now that I think of it, I was like, ooh, that was probably too soon. But guys, super thankful and grateful all of you for understanding that I am a human being. And I just realized now, I'm like, oh, that wasn't a good joke. But either way, April Fools. Ha ha ha, April Fools. Okay. But I'm more than anything else, guys, we built this to already 535. We're getting close to 530, 540 episodes. And, we're not going to be stopping anytime soon. We've got to make this and build this even more and more. We got more and more people that are subscribing to this channel. So super happy about this too. Numbers are going up also. So if anything else, guys, it's April 1st. And for us in this history, we've ended March 31st and it's April 1st. It's a new time, new mentality and new way of doing things. And I hope that April, well, in former faith, April is a time for Easter, right? And it is a time to, bury the old, get rid of the old things and start new. And that's kind of one of the reasons why they use the Easter bunny for, there's the Easter bunny, because the Easter bunny is a sign of fertility, and there's always new birth. They give a lot of birth to a lot of babies, right? So there's a new birth, right? And I hope that we will be able to make ourselves even better through prayer and the word, which is the theme for this year. And yeah, guys, already month 4 has begun, and that is pretty crazy how fast this time is going. So I really hope that all of us here, no matter what we're going through, as Sunseam said, no matter what we're going through, we got to hold on to God, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Son, Lord, and we have to be those that do and take action with all our life so we become one with them. And when we become one with them, this is when we gain eternal life, all right? So, yesterday, did any of you guys watch Espresso Sky new video that came out? 5 reasons why I believe in God in the Bible. And it's kind of 5 different ways that you're able to testify about God and the Bible. And it's going to be at many different levels. So it'll be good for everyone to watch, not just you, but also for your newcomers and such like that too. Okay. And also remember this Sunday edition, it was the artist series with the Somni Boys doing, we're doing an artist series on the song Alone I Pray that just dropped on 316. And next week, we're going to meet Ivy Sermata from Brazil. It'll be the first member we meet from Brazil, so I'm super excited about this too. So I hope you guys are enjoying these Sunday edition interviews, get to meet each other and see how God has brought each and every one of us into this history, all right? And of course, Patreon, I didn't post it on Monday yet, but I will post the new video for this week, probably today or tomorrow, but I'll get that up soon, okay? So let's get into some member artists from around the world, and of course, we just had that artist series the last day of the week. Just to remind everyone, watch this artist series. So we're going to start out with the Somni Boys from America with Alone I Pray. And then we'll go to Kuma-chung from Japan with his latest song, The Greatest Blessing. And then last but not least, we have J. Root from the Paper Music Associates in Korea with World of Us featuring Seungyeong.
Please don't let me down, Lord. I know I can trust you with all my heart. So I'm on my knees, praying for you to always come through. Even if I pray all night, all I want is for your will be done. So I'm on my knees, praying for you to always come through. No, I'm not slipping through. No, I'm not falling down. The only thing that's falling is my knees on the floor. I'm praying, Lord, will you give me strength? Lord, will you give me power? I can't do this myself, so bless me in the morning hours. All the demons test me, but they will never shake me. If I pray, they hate me. If I pray, you love me. Connected with you is the only thing that matters. And honestly, I couldn't be happier while I'm praying on my knees. I trust you with all my heart. For you always come through. For myself, for my family, for myself alone I pray. Please don't let me down, Lord. I know I can trust you with all my heart. So I'm on my knees, praying for you to always come through. Even if I pray all night, all I want is for your will be done. So I'm on my knees, praying for you to always come through.
I pray to never just settle for good when great is available. Who's the mastermind behind this mind? I give all the credit to God, that's why I'm back. They mad that I made it, I know that the Satans, they hate it. I keep working hard just to make progress. Now I'm on 10, trust the process, ayy. Look at my efforts lately, I'm setting conditions daily. I'm praying on my knees, so bless me. Please bless me, please bless me. Tribulations always come and go, I will never stop, just always know. Your focus determines reality, stay solid, that's why I'm praying on my knees. I trust you with all my heart. For you to always come through. For myself, for my family, on myself alone I pray. Please don't let me down, Lord. I know I can trust you with all my heart. So I'm on my knees, praying for you to always come through. Even if I pray all night,
平成もう終わり令和の時代成長下から戦う時代うまくいかないうまくやれないことが多いけど決して諦めないあれから7年の月日が経ち蒔いた種は少しずつ芽を出し今すべて捨てられざらいあなたに告げて Be alright どんなに険しい道のりでも果てない壁に阻まれても It's fly away fly away yeah 天高く頂上目指す観難の波が押し寄せてもこんなに愛が溢れてるから立ち上がれ立ち上がれ yeah 一人じゃない It's your love
最高の祝福得る時代愛そうこれからの未来に期待世界はまだまるで瞑想未来永劫したくない戦争この時代に訪れた平和最も大きな愛をくれたメシアただ確信してずっと愛そう感謝が溢れる死の栄光
どんなに険しい道のりでも果てない壁に阻まれても It's fly away fly away yeah 天高く頂上目指す観難の波が押し寄せてもこんなに愛が溢れてるから立ち上がれ立ち上がれ yeah 一人じゃないパオラ主の愛とその恵み忘れないで御言葉を行って御言葉を通し全てに勝って主の軍隊となり黄金の城へ前進する主と共に溢れる祝福をくださった惜しみなくくださった主に感謝する永遠に主のそばで生きられる夢ではない現実主を愛します最高の祝福をくださった心は天国です感謝します主と輝く歴史なそう私を使ってください愛してます愛してますThe end
And that was J Root from PMA in Korea with the song World of Us featuring Seungyeong. Before that was Kuma-chung from Japan with The Greatest Blessing. And of course, featured artist of the day. That is Sumney Boys from America with Alone I Pray. And they do have the artist series this week, so go check that out for the Sunday edition. All right, so let's get into news going on around the world. And of course, today is going to be the last day we do our coronavirus numbers, the statistics updates. If there's anything new, we'll put it in the world news, but this is going to be the last day we do this, so we don't need these numbers anymore, mainly because the numbers are very, very low. They're much lower than they were in the past, so I'm really, really happy that we're going to be doing this for the last time today, all right? So globally, since the pandemic began, there have been over 487.7 million cases with over 6.16 million deaths, and the mortality rate's at 1.26%. Top 5 countries going by daily death rates. U.S. on top with 681 deaths with 31,000 cases. Korea in second with 432 deaths and 424,000 cases. Russia, 352 deaths with 20,000 cases. Germany in fourth with 305 deaths and 267 cases. And then Brazil rounds up the top 5 with 276 deaths and 33,000 cases in a single day. Over here in North America, U.S. on top, and then Mexico in second with 84 deaths and 2,700 cases, and then Canada in third with 59 deaths and 11,000 cases. And there you have it, guys. Last coronavirus statistics update. We're not going to do that from next week, so I hope you guys have really learned or we're able to see what is going on with that, okay? So let's get some current news going around the world. We're going to start off with Russia-Ukraine crisis. What are some of the things that have happened over the last 24 hours? Well, firstly, Russian leader Vladimir Putin threatens to stop gas supplies to unfriendly countries if they don't deal in the Russian ruble. He signed a decree stating buyers must open ruble accounts in Russian banks from Friday. Germany says it will study the details of the demand, but there can be no political blackmail over gas imports. Putin's demand for ruble payments is an attempt to boost the currency, which has been hit by sanctions from the West. Ukraine's government is sending dozens of buses to Mariupol in a fresh effort to evacuate people and deliver humanitarian aid. Russia has declared a one-day ceasefire in the heavily bombed port city, but there is skepticism if it will hold. Up to 170,000 people remain trapped. The head of Defense Alliance, NATO, says Russian units are being redeployed to fight in the east. All right. Also, in other news when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, or parts of it, U.S. President Joe Biden to announce record oil release from stockpiles. President Joe Biden will shortly announce the release of a record amount of oil from U.S. strategic stockpiles, says the White House. It says an unprecedented 1 million barrels a day will be released to the market from U.S. reserves for the next 6 months, and it hopes the move will dampen soaring fuel prices in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Oil prices began to fall earlier today after reports emerged that the U.S. was considering tapping its crude reserves. Rounding up international, let's take a look at the international reaction to Putin's gas supply threat, saying everyone must open, a Russian bank account to pay for the gas that they're exporting. Germany, which is Russia's largest customer in the EU, the country's economy minister said it is important for us not to give a signal that we will be blackmailed by Putin. And German Finance Minister Christian Lindner echoed his words, "It is clear for us there can be no political blackmail." And he also added, "We are convinced that contracts are contracts. The contracts are based on euro, and so we will continue to pay for energy imports in euro." France also insists contracts are contracts. And in the UK, Prime Minister Boris Johnson says paying in rubles is not something we'll be looking into. Dutch energy company Eneco states it has a long-term contract with Wingas, a German subsidiary of Russia's Gazprom, for delivery until 2030. So most of these countries are going to refuse to pay in this. So I'm wondering what Russia's actually going to do because they've demanded gas payments in rubles. So that is the UK and Russia, Ukraine and Russia crisis. So that's kind of the news that's going on around right now. So we're going to move into Hong Kong. And this is very interesting here because we know about China taking over Hong Kong, and top UK judges resign from the highest court. So the UK has announced that 2 of its Supreme Court judges will no longer be sitting on Hong Kong's top court. The judges said the threat to civil liberties had made their role on Hong Kong's Court of Final Appeal untenable. Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam, has responded with regret and disappointment to the resignations, but the UK government supports the decision and says the situation in the territory has now reached a tipping point. In 2020, China introduced a national security law that curtailed freedom of speech and made it easier to punish protesters in Hong Kong. UK Supreme Court President Lord Robert Reid said he and Lord Patrick Hodge were resigning from the court over the threat to civil freedoms posed by the new law. The judges of the Supreme Court cannot continue to sit in Hong Kong without appearing to endorse an administration which has departed from values of political freedom and freedom of expression, Lord Reid said. And the Hong Kong Court of Final Appeal hears many of the territory's highest profile cases, often ruling on key questions over civil and political liberties. Senior British judges have sat on the court since 1997 as part of an agreement when Hong Kong was handed over to China by the UK. UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss endorsed the decision, saying the participation of top British judges in Hong Kong's legal system risked legitimizing oppression. The UK, which ruled over Hong Kong for 150 years, claims that the 2020 law breaches the agreement under which Britain handed over the territory to China in 1997, and China says the law is needed to bring stability to Hong Kong after mass pro-democracy protests in 2019. And on Wednesday, a Chinese government spokesperson said it strongly deplored the judge's decision to quit the court. Now, the spokesperson said that the territory is governed according to the rule of law and criticized the UK for its attempts to maliciously vilify China's policies for Hong Kong. Now, Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam, said the decision meant the UK government was effectively ending an agreement that has been in place since 1997 and pushed back against the criticism of the national security law. The role of foreign judges in Hong Kong's courts has been legally guaranteed since the territory was returned to China, intending to maintain the common law tradition established under British rule. Non-permanent judges from Canada, Australia, and New Zealand also sit on the court, as well as other judges with British nationality. A spokesperson for the UK Supreme Court confirmed to the BBC that the remaining 6 British judges who have seats on the Hong Kong court will be left to decide independently if they wish to retain their posts. Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Nathan Law, who is living in political exile in the UK and has previously had a high-profile case heard by the court, welcomed the decision but said it had come too late. Mr. Law said that any judge sitting on the court must believe the rule of law is still intact in Hong Kong and called on the remaining British and overseas judges to resign. So that is actually something really huge happening in Hong Kong. Where China has taken over after those pro-democracy protests that happened in 2019. And, there's a lot of even students and young protesters that are being put in prison and stuff like that too. So our prayers go out, but we also know that, we have to figure out what is God doing in this situation. And I hope it's something that we'll all be able to resolve together as one family of Providence. And last in the top 3 news, we're going to go into the U.S. with inflation. Yes, inflation is a big thing in the U.S., the number 1 economy in the world. And they're in massive inflation. Well, the whole world is, but U.S. prices hike. U.S. prices hike is tempering consumer demand. In the U.S., rapid inflation has eroded wage growth and driven up the cost of necessities like energy, food, and rent. U.S. inflation-adjusted consumer spending declined in February, suggesting the fastest pace of price increases in 4 decades is starting to temper demand. Purchases of goods and services, adjusted for changes in prices, fell 0.4% from the prior month, following a 2.1% jump in January, according to Commerce Department figures Thursday. Spending on goods settled back after the prior month's surge, while a decline in COVID-19 cases supported a pickup in outlays for services. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which the Federal Reserve uses for its inflation target, increased 0.6% from a month earlier and 6.4% from February 2021, the most since 1982. Now, unadjusted for inflation, spending advanced 0.2% from January, while incomes rose 0.5%. The median forecast in a Bloomberg survey of economists called for a 0.2% decrease in inflation-adjusted spending from the prior month and a 6.4% rise in the price index from a year ago. Now, after Omicron-related volatility in the prior 2 months, the government's data suggests American consumers are feeling the pinch of the fastest inflation in decades. Continued strength in the labor market, along with excess savings, has provided many households the wherewithal to keep spending. Now, still, rapid inflation has eroded wage growth and driven up the cost of necessities like energy, food, and rent, and this comes at the same time as families receive less government pandemic aid, weighing on the prospects for spending. So the acceleration in inflation last month only adds to concerns about the breadth and persistence of price pressures, corroborating calls for more aggressive Fed rate increases. A solid March jobs report on Friday on the heels of the latest price data may cement expectations for a 0.5 percentage point hike in the Fed's benchmark rate in May. So, yeah, it's pretty bad, guys. Especially like at gas, energy, all these prices are skyrocketing, and which means that consumers are now spending less. They're kind of scared with all these prices going up there. But this inflation, this is something that we have to really look at too, because more than war, like if you're not living in the Ukraine or Russia, more than this war, already from the pandemic, there's been a massive inflation all around the world. The thing that affects the regular everyday person, except for, obviously except for Russia and Ukraine, the thing that we are struggling with the most is inflation. All of our prices going up. And of course, the war is making things even more expensive, but it was already going up even before the war actually happened. So it is something that we do need to pray about. And I hope it's something that we can really think about at a much when we pray to God, we have to pray at that level, knowing the situation first. All right. So that is the top 3 news around the world, which leaves us into the sporting news. And I have some bad news when it comes to the NHL. Yes, my Vancouver Canucks setback yesterday, major setback. Now, Winnipeg Jets, which is one team above us, they won their game 3-2 against Buffalo. Edmonton, who's third in the Pacific Division, who are trying to catch, they won 4-3 against the LA Kings. And then the Vegas Golden Knights, which is holding the last wildcard spot, they won 3-0 against Seattle. And then what happens? Vancouver plays against St. Louis, and we lost 4-3, which means now we're staying at 73 points. Winnipeg's up by 3 points now, so they're at 76, and the Vegas Golden Knights are at 78. So now just to get into a wild card spot, we are 5 points away with what? With like 10 games remaining, so it is not a good sign. We have another game on Sunday. I am not sure how things are going to turn out, but I really, really hope that we make the playoffs. In NBA news, a couple of games on the slate. We have the Dallas Mavericks defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers, 120-112. Luka Doncic with 35 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Denver Nuggets defeat the Indiana Pacers, 125-118. Nikola Jokic, 37 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Miami defeats the Boston Celtics. Red-hot Boston Celtics were beaten for a second game in a row, 106-98. Toronto, 6th in the East, so they're in the playoffs right now. They defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves, 125-102. Atlanta defeats OKC Thunder, 136-118. Trae Young with 41 points and 8 assists. And big matchup in the West, number 1 versus number 2. It's Phoenix defeats the Golden State Warriors, 107 to... Actually, no, I think Golden State's number 3 now, and Memphis is number 2, but Phoenix beats the Golden State Warriors without Steph Curry, 107-103. Last but not least, in sporting news, we have soccer. And in soccer news, the CONCACAF is now finished, and the U.S. and Mexico have qualified for the World Cup. Now, what happens is there are 4 pots. So all the people that qualify for the World Cup are put into 4 different pots. So pot 1 is where the host and the 7 strongest nations go into, and then pot 2, 3, and 4 go by world rankings. So U.S. and Mexico go into pot 2, right? And if the U.S. actually won, if they won their one game, they would have been in pot 1, I believe. No, Mexico would have been in pot 1 if they won their last game, but they lost. Canada, even though we won the CONCACAF, we are all the way in the lowly pot 4. If we beat Panama, we would have been in pot 3, but we're in the lowest, so that's not a very good thing. And what happens is they'll have a big drawing today where 1 team per pot goes into every group. Right? So from pot 1, 2, 3, and 4 will go into every group, but you're not allowed to have someone from the same continent go into the same pot. So like the US and Mexico could not play against Canada, and since there's a lot of European nations, only maximum of 2 European nations could be in the same group. So we'll see what happens, and we'll report about what are the groups for the World Cup on the Monday podcast, okay? So that is the news in sports, world news, and of course, the last coronavirus updates for forever, I'm hoping, right? Which means we're going to get into a time of praise and worship to the Holy Trinity, and we're going to start off with, this is a time to give praise and worship. And I hope that all of us can really gain fire and have that spiritual mind as we praise together. We'll start off with the person following the Lord, and then the place where the Lord dwells. I'm not sure, for me, this song is one of my favorite songs right now when it comes to praise, the place where the Lord dwells, and we'll end things off with Blind Love. So, as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
Can anyone seize the person following the Lord? Can anyone stop that sun setting over the hill? Just as the night grows dark and turns into the break of dawn, we teach you as we listen to the word of life. As the Lord misses us, so we yearn and longs for us, we too listen, so we long for you, Lord. Can anyone seize the person following the Lord? Can anyone stop that sun setting over the hill? Everything and everyone your name, my Lord. Right now, I just want to be right next to you. With a heart that is so full of praise, I have come to finally realize, my Lord, you're surely in this place. Always until the end, you kept your promise that you'd be with us until the end of time. Oh my Lord, you never have forgotten us. You are by our side and bless us endlessly. Lord, you are always there. Please accept our praise. We are so in love, we just want to live with you. When we think of the way you're always here running with us, we're so grateful, Lord, and we just can't forget. You're in this church of peace and love abounding. I'm rejoicing in this heaven on the earth. With my heart set firmly on that world of gold, I will keep my faith and glorify your name. Lord, you are always there. Please accept our praise. I am so in love, I just want to live with you. When I think of the way you're always here running with us, I'm so grateful, Lord, and I just can't forget. I'll live only for the word of the Lord. I'll fulfill this great history with the word of the Holy Son. Only you, Lord, you are the shepherd of my life. Oh my Lord, I am lacking, so I plead. Teach me, please. Lord, you are always there. Please accept our praise. I am so in love, I just want to live with you. When I think of the way you're always here running with us, I'm so grateful, Lord, and I just can't forget. Lord, you are my bridegroom. Please receive my love. I just want to live with you in the world of gold. I will bear many fruits of love and fruits of thanksgiving, and together make this history of life. And together make this history of life. There is nothing I can see, though it's right in front of me. Blinded with love for the Lord, I can see nothing but my Lord. I love you, Lord. No matter what hardships I face, it is all right with me. I only look to the Lord. of the Lord. My tears just cannot stop flowing from my eyes. I love you, Lord, with all this heart of mine. I love you, Lord, my love, my dear Lord. I am happy, truly happy, blinded by the Lord's love, unchanging from the start to eternity. I love you. I look only to the Lord, Him alone I will serve. I will obey His every word. I will become His source of joy and strength. I'll comfort Him. No matter what hardship may come, He won't face them alone. I will protect him with my life. I'll make the history of the Spirit burn truly. I will testify because I love him. I love you, Lord, with all this heart of mine. I love you, Lord, my love, my dear Lord. Blazing brightly like the sun with the love of the Lord. At last the golden city is before my eyes. I love you, Lord, with all this heart of mine. I love you, Lord, my love, my dear Lord. Lord, you raised me, and I raptured by the power of your love. Surrounded by your love, I'm truly happy, Lord. I love you. I love you. I love you.
And that was Blind Love, oldie but a goodie. I remember that song when Pastor Joan first sang that song, and I think that was during the Holy Spirit movements from 2009, I believe, wasn't it? 2009 or 2010, I think, right? But that's oldie but a goodie, Blind Love. Before that was A Place Where the Lord Dwells, and of course, The Person Following the Lord. All right, so let's get into the word study for today. And of course, it is Friday, which means we're going to get into the Wednesday message, God's Purpose is Our Purpose. And we had two scriptures, one from the Complete Testament Bible, and of course, the other one is John 15, verse 9 and 10. Now, I'm hoping that as these Wednesday messages are going further and further, that we're definitely helping out our preachers. And of course, God is working through the preachers, and God is working according to how much they have prepared and how much they're, they're praying and then just delivering the shimjung of the Lord. And I hope that one of the duties that we have as members, right? And I think it's something that we have to keep in our hearts and our minds is we need to be inspired. Right? We need to be inspired. There's a bunch of reasons why we don't get inspired, whether we're not prepared or the preacher's not prepared. There's a bunch of different things. But as people who are trying to receive the words of God at the highest level, we need to give feedback. So when you have those feedbacks, don't be, I don't want to say this the wrong way, don't be mean, but I'm going to say don't be too nice, meaning, oh, but I like them so much, I don't want to say anything to hurt them. No, when it comes to the words of God, the most important thing is that shimjung must be conveyed. It must be, right? And that's something that we have to really think about is if you're just like, oh, I'm friends with the preacher, so I don't want to say this, then what's happening is you're not only stopping the words of God coming into your heart, but also other people's hearts too. And this is why we have to be honest. Of course, I'm not saying being mean. Be honest with it. It's like, hey, you know what? It was a little bit slow. You know what? It was too monotone. Or it was not enough enunciation. Like there's just so many different, it was unnatural or whatever it is. There's so many different things that can come out from, when someone is preaching. And when we're giving feedback, we're not doing it to hurt people. The heart that we have is to help them so that the words of God can be delivered in such a way that it strikes all of our hearts, that even when a newcomer comes to listen to the message, they'll be like, wow, this message was powerful, kind of thing, right? And that's something that I really think that all of us have to think about in a much different way more than anything else, okay? So let's really, really get ourselves to think about this, about really helping and giving the good feedback so that these members, so that these preachers can do it better and better, okay? And, the introductions are like, I'm listening to preachers in New York, and Wednesday message, great message, and the intro, I really, really liked it. And the question came out is, how do we determine if something is amazing? How do we determine that, right? And a lot of answers came out it came into that last point is, if it's that amazing, then also how much do you value it? How much do you manage and take care of it, right? And I think that's the thing that's kind of like the second thing that happens, because we can listen to the words every single week and we're going to know, wow, this is powerful. But you'll never know how amazing it is until you value it that much and put it into action. And then when you do that, things change. So the question is, how much do we value the word? How much do we value it, right? You will never know how amazing the words are until you value it, because then you'll start, you'll focus on it and you'll put all your heart, will, and life into it. Receive the word, manage the word well, focus your heart, take in that breath of life the word gives to us. So, when, one of the parts that was brought up is we have to realize how much effort Sunstein puts in just to receive one word from God. And he puts so much value. It is so extreme because that is his love towards God. And, he makes up his, that if we understand this, then we can sincerely and really make up our hearts and our minds to receive the spirit and truth from the word even today. All right. So I really hope that all of us here can understand, not just, especially with the videos from the Wednesday message, which was incredible, but understanding that process happens too, just to receive the word of how God created all things. All right, so I hope that everyone is really receiving a lot more from the words, but I pray that all of us here not only will value the words, but will be able to value how it's delivered by giving good feedback to all the preachers, all right? So the Wednesday message, of course, incredible message, and it was so scientific and it was like anthropology lesson of how the world and everything was created. I think it's the first time we actually seen it from the very beginning with the Big Bang, right? I'm like, wow, the Big Bang is a part of this, right? And when I saw it, I was like, this is how much God has put in just to make this earth habitable, right? And it was interesting because, since he was like going, yeah, it took 4.6 billion years to create the earth, or to make it habitable. But in God's perspective, like you've been thinking, well, did it feel like a snap of a finger? No, even to God, it was like 4.5 million years. So think about this. Even though 4.5 is just incredible how long it is, but to God, that time was like 4.5 million years to someone who's living forever, right? Which is like, that's still a long time. All the effort and all the hard work that he put in just to make this earth habitable in order for us to live on. It was incredible because it was so scientific. That video, I'm not sure how long the video must have been like 10 minutes, but it was incredible. It was like the history of the world. And, just all the things Sunstein was saying even before the video, like, the earth is a perfect distance from the sun so that it is hot enough and cool enough for human beings to live on. It's not boiling. It's not freezing, right? And he's like, do you think there's any other planet like the earth? No, there isn't. Not a single planet has the necessary conditions for human beings to exist except the earth. God made everything, every circumstance, every part of the earth habitable to be that beautiful. And once that was finished, then the religious history began with the Old Testament, which was 6,000 years ago. So we need to understand that even as a human being, we've been born even within this 6,000 year time, which is the best time. And then of the 6,000 years, we're at the peak and the peak of the peak times. We are born in the most valuable precious time. We are in the most valuable and most precious of the most valuable and most precious time, if that makes sense. We were all of us here are chosen to come to this history through the man and mission of this time. And, I'm watching online, and our video cut off because of copyright. Like we were watching it, and all of a sudden it says stream has been cut off because of this. I'm like, what? And right in the middle of the video, but it was incredible the way it was going, starting off with the 4.6 billion years ago, how life began. It starts, 13.7 billion years ago. It started with the Big Bang. And then just repeated explosions and collisions and expansions and contractions and dust and stars, and just millions of years, rocks being pulled together with gravity. And when the Earth finally came together 4.6 billion years ago, it was basically 1,200 degrees Celsius. Remember, we can survive at around maximum like 50, maximum. Right? And that is way too hot for us anyways. This is 1,200 with the ground not even being solid. It was all lava. And then 400 million years later, we have like meteors raining down, rocky fragments, collisions, right? And inside these rocks were like salt-like grains of crystals with tiny water molecules in them. Crazy, isn't it? For me, I'm just like, what? Right? And then it strikes the earth for 20 million, because it was so small, it took 20 million years for all this water to accumulate. And then these meteors basically striking the earth for 20 million years is carrying water to the earth. And then you have like another, 900 million years later, you have like this life-giving water covers the surface. But yet the air is too toxic and the climate's still too hot. And meteors kept raining down, but they were bringing minerals and carbon, like the building blocks of life with amino acids, and they start to give life. Chemicals came together, giving birth to these single cells. Like, it was incredible. Just watching that, I was like, what? And it's like, this is what God was doing. Right? And then there's like bacteria that grows and photosynthesis and oxygen is produced. And then like 1.5 billion years ago, the amount of oxygen increases, the rotation slows down. Basically, the first 3 billion years of this planet being formed, there were no plants or dinosaurs or people, and the Earth core was still active and hotter than the surface, and it still looked closer to Mars more than anything else. Right? And I was looking at this, I was like, this is incredible, talking about the dinosaurs. Like, this is something that I don't get about the former faith. I'm going to tell you something that's really interesting, is there are people in the former faith in Vancouver that think I'm a false, obviously they think I'm in a cult and everything else, but they say, oh, this is one of the things they say, oh, he believes in dinosaurs. I'm like, you don't? Like, how could you not believe in dinosaurs? Like, that's ridiculous, right? But that's one of the things that hardcore Christians are going to be like, no, how can you believe in dinosaurs because the world's only 6,000 years old and stuff like that, right? So we're looking at, it's incredible how God has created all things, that we have to relook. When we go into nature, think again. When you go out into nature and you see a tree and dirt and rocks and animals and insects and bugs, rethink all those things. You have to rethink it. We really, really do. Because it's different. Like, the way, if you understand what God has put in for us to be in that situation, it is incredible what God has done. Like, remember he was talking about even after the dinosaurs, it wasn't habitable enough too. These giant dinosaurs were all around. Right? And then we go into like the ice age. Right? Because there was, what they said, what was it? something about it was the Ice Age and then the dinosaurs. I think after that, I forget what it was, but like these dinosaurs were there, and then this huge space rock from space, an asteroid bigger than Mount Everest, flies towards the Earth at 70,000 kilometers an hour, destroys everything on the Earth. Temperature rises, planets burn. It's like Armageddon right there, right? It's the end of the world. It really was. That happened 65 million years ago. So there's the dinosaurs ruled for like 165 million years, but it comes to an end. And going through all these major stages, it was incredible just to see it, said properly. You know what I mean? Even though it was a summary, it was done properly, where you're like, wow. It's not God created the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested, and now we're here. But you see how much effort, how much time God put in, that even in God's time, it was 4.5 million years in God's time. But in our time, it's 4.5 billion, 4.6 billion, right? But to God, 4.5 million, that's an incredible amount of time. We look at life as, even for me, wow, life is long. How long has it been? 43 years? Can you imagine 4.5 million years? That's even long for someone who lives forever. So I was sitting there like, wow, this was just, it really makes us understand and appreciate this is how much God loves us. This is the purpose. It was love. And the purpose is so incredible that God is willing to put in all the effort and work for 4.5 million years just for, in his time, right? 4.5 million years just for the earth, just so that we can live on it. And even before that, 13.7 billion years, which is what? That's like 13.7 million years from the beginning just to create the entire universe. God was creating all these things, and then he had to do mass extinctions just to get the earth to the place it is right now. We realize God is not, God being almighty and all powerful is not quite what we think almighty and all powerful, because we think, snap your finger, everything is done. And that's the old former faith way of thinking, is snap your finger, God is perfect, everything is done. But when you look at the way God works in this world, he works naturally according to the laws of this world. And that's why a lot of times things take time. Old Testament, 4,000 years. New Testament, 2,000 years. Complete Testament, 1,000 years. It takes time. If we look at the almightiness of God and we think about that snap of the finger, then in this world, there can't be a God, because nothing is instantaneous at all. There was incredible difficulty, tremendous effort in order for human beings to exist. Frustrating setbacks in creating everything. So we're looking at right now, imagine all the things that God went through just to get to this point right now, this final history. How much was put in just for this final time? Not even thinking about starting from the old, because when you read the Bible, you're like, oh my gosh, if I was God, I'd be frustrated looking at all the people, what they did in the Old Testament, New Testament and such. But we're here now, fulfilling the purpose at the highest level, and we fulfilled the purpose, pouring out our love to God. And this is why we need to value this purpose of creation and cherish it more than anything else in life. Remember when Sun Steve, God said, remember what Sun Steve said? If I were to tell you the purpose of creation in one sentence, I thought it was going to become the counterpart of love to God. But but the one sentence is God's absolute love towards us. That is the purpose of creation in one sentence. That I was not expecting that. That is God's absolute love towards us. We are receiving that love from 13.7 billion years of creating and working on the universe, from 4.6 billion years ago working on human beings and just on the earth itself so that we can live on it. And this is why we need to know how much and how great God's love is. And even more than that, it is about realizing the value of that love. We need to live even more understanding and knowing that shimjung of love that God has for us. And we need to act on the word no matter what happens. We have to do it properly. You know, when Sansi was talking about John chapter 15, verse 9 and 10, he says at the time of Jesus, how did the purpose of creation get fulfilled at that level? It was Jesus loving his followers just as God loved him. And then Jesus basically fulfilled the purpose of love and basically told his followers, listen to me, obey, and take action the way I do. And how did the purpose of love get fulfilled in that time period? It's dependent upon how much the people kept the commandments, how much they kept the word, how much they kept the word of the one that, the one that God loves so deeply, taking action on it more than anything else. The man of mission comes with the shimjung of the Lord, the shimjung of God and the Holy Spirit, preaches that shimjung. And when people listen to it and acknowledge and realize the shimjung of God, this is when God fulfills absolute love through those people. This is when our spirits come out of death, belong to the golden city. And this is why this man of mission is that big. We need to take on the responsibility. We need to live as true counterparts of the Holy Trinity. Right? The Holy Trinity speaks about the purpose. How many times have God and the Holy Spirit talked about the purpose of creation? Talked about it so many times that those who listen to it, they're watching. They're watching those that listen to the word. And they have this deep hope in their hearts that we're going to fulfill it 100%. And this is why the Holy Trinity works upon us. This is why the Holy Trinity is with us, accompanies us. And as long as we follow, as long as we believe, as long as we take action, this purpose of creation is going to be fulfilled. We've got to do it. Take action on the purpose every day. Man, what about that video on the weight of God's love compared to the weight of the earth? The weight of God's love compared to the human love? Incomparable. And this is why we have to be even more thankful. God's love is so great. We can't even understand how great that love is, that we need to value it even more, because his love is nothing close to the love we have. The love we have, come on. Compared to God's love, it's nothing. It's so small. But that's all God wants from us. Right? But usually it's us that go towards our own purpose. But instead, what we have to do is, instead of looking at our own purpose in life, we got to take action with all our heart every day. Right? The worldly purposes belongs to the body. Making money, doing all those different things, that's all to the body. We're not saying it's wrong. It just shouldn't be number one. The purpose of the body belongs to the body and is only enjoyed in the body, and it ends meaninglessly because it ends. Remember, I am happy. Happiness is eternal. It never ends. But if we get that purpose of our spiritual life, which is eternal, then your body will also receive the benefits and you can enjoy it and you'll live a meaningful life because it never ends. And this is the difference. We can't be that weak and lazy, right? We can't become like this. Because eventually in the end, if we stay weak and lazy, then the Holy Trinity will eventually treat us in the same way too. And we need to regain. And even though, like Sansim said it, he says, regaining this value is as difficult as creating heavens and nature. I'm like, what? Right? So we have to realize that word and the shimjung of God and the Holy Spirit and that love. We have to realize it, and this is when we change. We have to value it no matter how much time passes by. And not like the rest of the people, we can't forget it gradually from our thoughts as it normally does. But value, right? The value, the value of our lives, right? The value of all the things that we see and hear, it is all determined by our thoughts. And the moment our thoughts die is the moment we lose the value, right? Think about it. We can't, of all things, we cannot lose the value, the purpose of creation. And this is why we got to listen to the message deeply. We have to realize from the message. We need to pray deeply about the message. Take action on the message in new ways. Do it like you did at the beginning with that heart, that first love, that fire. This is what we need to do. We got to realize that shimjung of love, no matter how difficult it is, got to cherish it, value it, put it into our life each and every day. Just as the earth was made through so much difficulty, just as Wolmyeongdong was made through so much difficulty, we have to understand, right? That much has been put in, and this is much we have to put out for this history. So I really hope that all of us will make our lives the purpose of creation, the source of our joy. And whenever the difficulties or hardships come in, we don't forget this joy of the purpose of creation. Live with the strength of this joy, right? The Holy Trinity has created the universe. The Holy Trinity is making salvation history. He's giving us the greatest love, and we are being so blessed that we have to be those that just as God went to great lengths to give us this history, we too have to go to great lengths to fulfill this purpose that he's given. All right. So I hope that everyone, we can reflect and look at this great love of God around us. Right. Okay. So that is the word study for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. It is the last day of the week, and I hope that we can really reflect upon this word that's been given to us each and every day. All right. So that moves us into the song of choice for today. And of course, every Friday is Musical Friday. Yes, it's a Musical Friday. And I wanted to choose from a movie that I haven't seen, but I'm checking to see if how good these movies are. And the movie I'm going to go into is the one called Enchanted. It's a Disney musical. It's a live Disney musical. And this is a song called That's How You Know. I'm not sure if you guys seen this before, but these songs are good, and I heard that they won like 4 Tony Awards for these songs. They took over everything when this movie came out too, right? For best, I think Oscars, Academy Awards, right? So this is Enchanted from the movie, the Disney live musical Enchanted. It's a movie, and this song is called That's How You Know.
How does she know you love her?
Oh, no, don't.
How does she know
People looking.
she's yours?
Don't sing. It's okay. Let's just walk. Can we walk? Okay.
Well, does she?
Yeah.
How does she know that you love her?
Oh.
He knows the song too?
How do you show her you love her?
How does she know that you really, really
Truly love her.
I've never heard
How
this song.
does she know that you love her? How do you
All
show
right.
her you love her?
Really nice work.
How does she
Okay.
know
That's
that
it.
you really, really
Took care of him. Let's go. Okay.
truly love her? It's not enough to take the one you love for granted. You must remind her or she'll be inclined to say, how do I know he loves me? How do I know he's mine? Well, does he leave a little note to tell you you are on his mind? Send you yellow flowers when the sky is gray. Hey, he'll find a new way to show you a little bit every day. That's how you know. That's how you know he's your love. See?
Oh, I've seen quite enough. Let's go.
A ball?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would not be fun.
You got to show her you need her. Don't treat her like a mind reader. Each day do something to keep her to believe you love her.
Everybody wants to live happily ever after. Everybody wants to know their true love is true. How do you know he loves you? How do you know he's yours? Well, does he take you out dancing just so he can hold you close?
I don't dance.
Dedicated song with words meant just for you. Ooh.
And I really don't sing.
He'll find his own way to tell you with the little things he'll do. That's how you know. That's how you know he's your love. He's your love.
Giselle! I've been dreaming.
Take these flowers to Nancy, please.
What are you, crazy? They're birds. They don't know where she lives.
That's how you know he loves you. That's how you know it's true. Because you wear your favorite color just so he can match your eyes. Plan a private picnic by the fire's glow. His heart will be yours forever. Something every day will show. That's how you know. 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 That's how you know he's your love.
That's how she knows that you love her. That's how you show her.
That's how you know.
You got to show her you need her. Don't treat her like a
That's
man.
how you
And that was That's How You Know from the Disney movie musical Enchanted. It's a live version of it, all right? So that was the musical song of choice for today. Hope you guys really, really enjoyed that, which leads us into the last segment for today and, of course, for the entire week. And it's something that a lot of people look forward to. It is this new segment where this is Let's Testify with Tuli Ashton from Australia, and she's interviewing people from all over the world. And we are interviewing someone from Sydney. Her name is Sky. Yes, her name is Sky. And I do believe I've met her, right? And I think her sister's name is Joan. And her other sister's name is Diamond, I think. I think this is the same. I met them when they were like little kids, like 4 years old, 3-4 years old. So this is Sky, and I'm really shocked how much she's grown up. But that's because I haven't been to Australia probably for like 10 years. But please welcome Tuli Ashton from Australia with her next segment of Let's Testify.
Hello, everybody. This is Let's Testify with Tuli from Down Under. Let's Testify is your opportunity to thank the Trinity through your testimonies. The testimony topics on Let's Testify are not really set. In general, they're about your stories with the Trinity in your life. We've had testimonies about evangelism, overcoming failure, head leading, overcoming persecution, and lots more. And today we have a Thanksgiving testimony about answered prayers in regards to moving out of home for the first time and getting work. So everyone, please welcome Sky.
Hi everyone! First of all, I want to give my thanksgiving to the Trinity for giving me the opportunity to testify of their power and presence in my life. I would like to first introduce myself. So my name is Sky and I'm currently a student studying Masters of Occupational Therapy in Australia. Today I want to share with everyone how the Trinity listens to your prayers and how they lead you and guide you in your everyday life. So a little background story about me. I really like dancing, I like singing, I like doing artsy things, but also have a lot of interest in like the human body anatomy and working with people. And so I guess that's why I'm studying Masters of Occupational Therapy. And I also grew up living in a religious household, grew up listening to worship, going to church on Sundays, and doing volunteer work and all of these things. But it's always great and everything, but as you grow up, having this kind of everyday thing that's always recurring, it becomes kind of monotonous and becomes more a chore, you could say. And so you can say I was very dim in terms of my passion towards God and living my life being united with the Trinity, especially end of high school. You know how it is. And a lot of the times my faith was relying on my parents and kind of just going with the flow of everything, going with the flow of things, I guess you'd say. But at the end of high school, going into university, there was a shift in terms of my environment, my mindset, and my motivation towards my faith. So end of 2018, I was a fresh new high school graduate with mixed feelings of excitement and curiosity about what the future had in store for me. And I didn't really know if the course I chose was something I would like, nor did I know 100% if this was the right path for me to take. But I had faith in God, and I knew that if I do my own responsibilities and continue to do what I had to do, everything would work out. And also the word said that our thoughts are really important, and according to how we think, it can determine our future and our destiny. And so I always want to live with God. I always want to be united with Him and live a life of faith that is, sincere and proper. And but one way was for me to live this way was for me to be more independent. And so I moved out of my parents' house. And before moving out, I prayed and set a condition of opening my thoughts to what God's stance was on me moving out. I didn't really want to have my own thoughts or my own kind of wants and needs. I really wanted to empty my thoughts and really move according to what God's will was for me at this time. And I really petitioned and asked the Holy Spirit, if it's your will, then really please inspire and move me. Honestly, who's going to turn down the comfort of living at your parents' rent-free, food always being in the fridge and having unlimited internet? But, after praying a lot, and I guess within the week or so, I was told a friend needed a roommate, and I had a really strong, sudden inspiration, and just kind of my heart was just pulled into, yes, I need to move out and be more independent, which was 100% unlike of me. And so I moved closer to the city and my uni, and a commute that would usually take an hour or so now only took 5 minutes to walk. And living outside of your parents' house was definitely a big learning curve. You start looking at things in a different light, and you're also open to do so many new things. And I was really lucky enough to get a room with a church friend. And so we had a lot of fun. We cooked together and we went to the gym together. But we also talked about faith, and we really helped each other a lot when we had any hard times. And what really taught me was patience and understanding. When living with other people, you need a lot of patience and understanding, and you need to be more open-minded because they won't have the same upbringing as you, and they would have had different lifestyles, have completely different interests and hobbies that may not even 100% line up with you. But in turn, these things turn into life lessons, and you learn to kind of adjust and adapt, and also communicate really well with the other person person you're living with. And I also believe that God put me in an environment where I could grow and learn from others, to also embrace my own flaws and lackings that I wouldn't have even known about if I didn't live in this type of environment. And so I moved out and I need a job, but Centrelink, youth allowance, which is I guess Australia's term of the government giving support payments to full-time students. So youth allowance wasn't going to cover my living expenses on top of my rent. And so I'm searching for a job. I'm searching and searching, but nothing. Every job advertisement was either looking for a full-time worker with high experience in this particular field, or it was located out in the middle of nowhere. And also, I really made a promise of being independent to my parents and also to myself. I didn't want to rely on my parents to help me all the time financially. And, I wanted to be in charge of myself, be an independent woman, but, sometimes it doesn't work out as much as you would like it to work out. So I'm looking for a job, but, there isn't. I'm looking on every job advertisement site there is, but none of them really fit my time schedule, and location wise it was never fitting, or in terms of the skills that I have wasn't matching, and just none of them just didn't click. It just didn't match. So what do? I close my laptop and I don't even bother looking for another job until I ask God for help. And I think that time I also prayed for about maybe a week or so. But boy, when I tell you prayer works, it really works. Now, it wasn't just vague prayer where I just prayed, God, please help me find a job, and that was it. Like, I didn't just do that, but I really prayed clearly and specifically in regards to what I wanted and also what I wanted to promise to God if I get this job. So, for example, I prayed in specifics to my time schedule, to the skills that I have, to the location and the work environment, to the people that works there as well. I prayed for very specific things, but also really acknowledged and confessed to the Trinity that they also know me the best and know the whole situation the best. And so I really wanted to leave my mind open to whatever comes my way. And so after this condition, I decided to look for a job again, and lo and behold, there's an advertisement for a barista position at the shopping mall right in front of my place. And of course, they say they want a full-time worker, but I just, try at this point. I just needed a job, and I give them my availabilities and my work ethic and my resume and all of these things, and they ask for an interview. I got a reply asking for an interview. Thank God the interview goes great. I get the job and I meet the most wonderful people who are really friendly and caring and really fun to be around. And I really thank the Trinity for listening to my prayers about these things, because financially I was able to resolve these issues. Through prayer, I was able to resolve these financial issues. That's what I was going to say. Anyways, and also, the Trinity put me in. It always puts me in an environment where I can learn and grow. And so, in your life, in your daily life, I really hope that you can pray big things and small things, whether you think it's important or not. But really living a life of prayer in your everyday life was what really made me realize that, the Trinity always is there to listen to you, and they're always there to support you and guide you and put you in environments where you can be challenged but also gain a lot out of. And so, as long as you're connected through prayer and as long as you're connected with the Trinity, you can really gain so many life lessons and gain so many new experiences and new friendships and new connections. And so, I hope that through this testimony today, everyone can also live a life of prayer together with the Trinity, and really rely on them and really believe that they will work everything out for you. And so, thank you so much for listening to my testimony, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or your evening or whatever time zone you're in. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Sky. It is a wonderful reminder that the Trinity truly love us and know us in detail and know the whole environment. So as we entrust everything to Him, He will make our path plain. Thank you so much. And if you would like to testify, please go ahead and contact me on the email address below. You can even just send me a recording of your testimony and I'll post it in the coming weeks. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great week. Peace.
And there you have it, another wonderful, awesome segment from Atuli Ashton over there from Down Under. That is an interview with Sky. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed that. This was an awesome week of podcasts. Hope you guys have an amazing start to April. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the Sunday edition with Ivy Sermada from Brazil. And then once again on Monday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with Sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know. I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.